Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sarena Townsend. I'm the founding partner of Townsend Law, and I represent Ambra Battilana Gutierrez in her pursuit of justice. I stand here today almost exactly 10 years to the day from when Miss Gutierrez was sexually assaulted by Harvey Weinstein at his Manhattan office on that now infamous casting couch. And I stand here with no exaggeration in between two heroes and among those who support Ambra, including members of Model Alliance. The first hero I'd like to talk about is Ambra, Miss Gutierrez. She spoke out about Harvey Weinstein before it was popular or even safe to do so. She's allowing me to speak on her behalf today, but will answer questions that you have later. Let me tell you something about this incredibly brave woman standing here so that you could understand the kind of person that she is. Ambra is somebody who would happily do the right thing, no matter the personal consequences, no matter the danger. At only 18 years old, she reported Italy's Prime Minister, Silvio Berlusconi, for sexually assaulting teenagers and women at his parties. She only became aware of it because she won the Miss Italy pageant and got an invitation to the party where she witnessed his crimes. Thanks to her bravery, her candor, and her testimony at trial, Berlusconi was convicted. When Ambra found herself years later on Harvey Weinstein's couch, his hands grabbing her breasts and going up her skirt, no doubt she imagined the worst thing that could happen by telling on him was that she'd have to go through that process again. It turned out she was wrong. The worst thing that could have happened, and the thing that did happen, was that she couldn't go through that process again because the police and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office failed to prosecute Harvey Weinstein. Retired Deputy Chief Michael Osgood, the second hero of this story, from whom you will hear in a moment, he led the 2015 Weinstein investigation. Deputy Chief Osgood was in charge of NYPD's Special Victims Division, and he was known as, and still is known as, somewhat of a savant. He's not your run-of-the-mill investigator. He's an intellectual, a strategist, an integrity-driven, old-school, case-cracking sleuth. He learns a case from the bird's eye view down to the most microscopic piece of evidence. He strategizes every move and he executes. And that's what he did for Ambra's case. Within 24 hours, his team managed to get Ms. Gutierrez's credible statements and corroborative evidence, a controlled and recorded phone call with Weinstein, a controlled sting operation, a meeting with Harvey Weinstein, where Ambra wore a wire. She met with him the very next day, and he confessed on the recorded wire during that meeting. And not only did he confess, he tried 3 times that day to get Ambra into his hotel room. That was also recorded on the wire. One of the detectives on the sting even had to pretend to be a TMZ staffer, trying to get Weinstein's autograph in order to run interference to prevent Weinstein from taking Ambra back into his hotel room. Let me tell you, this is an unheard of quantity of evidence and an unheard of level of commitment by Ms. Gutierrez to re-traumatize herself in a very unsafe situation by meeting him the next day after his assault at his own territory. I was a deputy bureau chief at the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office in 2015. I practiced as a prosecutor for a decade, including in the Sex Crimes Bureau. Currently, I'm a criminal defense attorney and I handle sex crimes cases. I can tell you that back in 2015 and still today, New York City District Attorney's offices prosecute misdemeanor sex crime cases on a quarter of the evidence that they had in the 2015 Weinstein case. In fact, most times the complainant's word is all they have, and they still prosecute the case. I have never, in my decade of prosecuting, heard of a complainant willing to wear a wire or even being asked to wear a wire and then successfully eliciting a confession from her abuser the day after the event, but she did. The NYPD and the DA had all the evidence they needed to arrest and convict Harvey Weinstein in 2015. But as soon as Harvey Weinstein was brought in for questioning and he learned who was accusing him, he launched a media blitz to destroy Ms. Gutierrez's reputation. And he had his team of influential people call in favors on his behalf to the NYPD and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. And so instead of doing the right thing, Weinstein's fixers and DA staff destroyed Ms. Gutierrez's reputation in the media and within her community. DA investigators swarmed. They interrogated Ms. Gutierrez's roommates, her modeling agency. They pulled video from where she lived, all to try to dig up dirt on her, unsuccessfully, by the way. They asked her point blank if she was a prostitute. As a prosecutor, sure, it's important to know your complainant and evaluate their past to determine their credibility. But a legitimate modicum of investigation here would have shown that Ms. Gutierrez had no skeletons in her closet whatsoever. And more importantly, the DA didn't have to rely on Ms. Gutierrez's word because they had Mr. Weinstein's word recorded on a wire, his confession. The proof was there, regardless of Ms. Gutierrez's background. Ultimately, the DA declined to prosecute, blaming Ms. Gutierrez's lack of credibility. So Italy found her credible enough to testify against their prime minister, and he was convicted. And I don't know if you know this, but California prosecuted Harvey Weinstein for sex crimes that he committed there. And the California prosecutors flew Ms. Gutierrez out to testify at the California trial, to testify at that trial about this incident, the 2015 incident. And he was convicted in California as well. So California found her credible enough and found the evidence of this case persuasive enough. But here in New York, where Harvey Weinstein has his tremendous influence, Ms. Gutierrez happens to lose all of her credibility. I want you to think about that. And at this time, I'd like for retired Deputy Chief Osgood to speak to you about his investigation, and then we'll conclude with questions.
Okay, good afternoon. Once again, I'm retired NYPD Deputy Chief Michael Osgood. I want to add something to what was said. When Ambra was inside the NYPD's first precinct station house on the evening of March 27, 2015, she stated to PO Jessica Ruotolo and Sergeant Christopher Adio she wanted to make a sexual assault complaint. They asked Ambra, "Who assaulted you?" When she replied, "Harvey Weinstein," P. Ruotolo, without hesitation and shock, said, "Not him again." There was no report on file in the NYPD on Weinstein as a criminal suspect. We reasonably believe Weinstein had the power and influence to stop a criminal complaint made on him at the first precinct in some time frame prior to Ambra being assaulted. Over the 15 days of the 2015 investigation, I and a team of Special Victim Division investigators did the following. We created a tactical investigative plan within the first 30 minutes of receiving the case. I deployed a 25-person detective investigative team, successfully conducted a highly probative control phone call, successfully conducted a highly probative control meet, custodial seized and custodially interviewed Mr. Weinstein, obtained video of Ms. Gutierrez in the immediate flight from Weinstein's office in visible distress, identified 7 cogent outcry witnesses, discovered 2 persons who had information regarding Mr. Weinstein engaging in similar conduct towards women of prior bad act witnesses, obtained probative video from 375 Greenwich Street, obtained probative video from the Tribeca Grand Hotel, ordered a case blackout on information going down to One Police Plaza, placed 24-hour security on Ms. Gutierrez's building, obtained an NYPD attorney and placed him on the investigation team to counter the conduct of Cy Vance's office, placed 3 of Mr. Weinstein's residents under 24-hour surveillance with orders to arrest Weinstein if he attempts to flee 13 Bank Street, 99 J Street, and 26 Beachside Avenue in Westport, Connecticut. Assigned an SVD detective who was fluent in the Northern Italian dialect to the investigative team, placed Ms. Gutierrez in a confidential hotel under a fictitious name, relocated Ms. Gutierrez 2 days later to a different confidential hotel, interviewed the Milan attorney of the Berlusconi trial, translated Ms. Gutierrez's testimony at the Berlusconi trial from Italian to English, and obtained the sexual assault advocate crisis counsel for Ms. Gutierrez. Let me state, the Special Victim Division did not deploy the deputy investigative process you just heard because of Mr. Weinstein. We had no animus towards Mr. Weinstein. I did not know who Mr. Weinstein was. Our investigative focus and process was to acquire the largest amount of beyond a reasonable doubt evidence possible in order to compel Cy Vance to prosecute the case because we did not trust that he would. The quantity, quality, cogency of the acquisition of evidence in this investigation was greater than 99% of the misdemeanors and 90% of the felonies in which special victims made an arrest, and the Manhattan DA's office drew up the complaint and took it forward to prosecution. A summary of the evidence in the Ambra is as follows. Ambra immediately fled after being assaulted, immediately outcried, immediately reported to the police, outcried consistently to a total of 7 outcry witnesses. We obtained knowledge of 2 prior bad act witnesses. Ambra was witnessed to be distraught by at least 5 witnesses, obtained a probative control call, obtained a probative control meet. Ambra collapsed in tears after she completed the control phone call, and Ambra was on video fleeing in distress from Weinstein's office minutes after being assaulted. The foregoing is coupled with Ambra being assaulted within minutes after meeting Weinstein, a clear sexual motivation for the assault, and the offender having a clear sexual predatory tone in his voice during the control meet. Ambra was deemed to be credible and her statements reliable by a special victim detective, the special victim lieutenant in charge, and the special victim division chief. We had more evidence in this case than the DA will present in the current Weinstein trials going on today and this week. For the record, Ambra was also deemed credible and reliable by the Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon and the Los Angeles County Senior Sex Crime Prosecutor, Deputy District Attorney Paul Thompson. For the record, in the early stages of the second Weinstein investigation, which I had a role in, I requested the commanding officer of the NYPD Legal Bureau, Deputy Chief Kerry Sweet, to petition Commissioner O'Neill for him to petition Governor Andrew Cuomo to remove Cy Vance and appoint a special prosecutor. Sweet declined. Attorney Carrie Goldberg, who represented Lucia Evans, twice went to the governor's office and requested Vance be replaced with a special prosecutor. Let me address the hiding of Ambra. On the 5th day of the investigation, April 1st, 2015, special victim detectives came to me and complained, the paparazzi knows every place we are going. This, coupled with a series of facts that I already had prior to this, I immediately ordered Ambra hid in a confidential hotel under a fictitious name. I did not just hide Ambra from the DA, I also hid Ambra from One Police Plaza. There was something wrong with One Police Plaza, I couldn't put my finger on it. 2 days later, I ordered Ambra relocated to a second confidential hotel when Vance sent 2 of his own detectives to Ambra's apartment looking to discredit her. One last thing. In October, November of 2022, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office prosecuted Mr. Weinstein for sexually assault on several women. During the week of November 7th, 2022, Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon placed into evidence in open court on the 8th floor at the Los Angeles Superior Courthouse at 210 Temple Street as prior bad act evidence, the NYPD Special Division 2015 case evidence. The evidence Mr. Gascon introduced into open court was the control phone call, the audio of the control meet, video of Ambra fleeing in distress from Weinstein's office, video from the Tribeca Grand Hotel that was synchronized with the audio from the control meet, and information from the 2015 investigative DD5s. I traveled out to Los Angeles and sat in the courtroom over those days to support Ambra and let her know The Special Victim Division investigators in 2015 were honest and did not fail her. I watched my evidence presented in open court. It was nothing but stunning. Mr. Gascon placed Ambra, the case detective, Detective Williams, the night precinct desk officer, Lieutenant Universitia, and the victim's music agent, Mr. Robert Hoffman, on the witness stand and placed them off under oath, and they were examined and cross-examined. The Los Angeles District Attorney obviously believed Ambra was the victim of criminal sexual conduct. The Los Angeles District Attorney had to have concluded he didn't want to place his prosecution at risk. He had to determine that she was reliable, she was credible, she's not a prostitute, she wasn't lying, she had no motive, and the Special Victim Division 2015 case evidence was honest and complete. What we are requesting a grand jury-led, fully exhausted criminal investigation to determine the full truth of what happened in 2015.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
I will end with this, and thanks for your patience. Thank you for listening. We now know more about the cover-up and what actually happened in the NYPD and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, thanks to former Deputy Chief Osgood's relentless dedication to justice and to Ms. Gutierrez. But we don't know it all. We need the Southern District of New York to conduct a full, fair, transparent investigation into what happened and to hold people accountable for this injustice. We're going to take questions. One last thing. We sent a demand letter to the Southern District of New York with this demand and giving them information that retired Deputy Chief Osgood was able to uncover. To join the call for action and for more information generally, we created a website. Please visit it at www.investigatenyc.com. We're going to take questions now.
Ms. Gutierrez, how do you feel that this is still ongoing?
For me, it's not still ongoing. It's just starting. It's never happened before. I never been through the trial for my case in 2015, and I believe now it's time. And I really urge Southern District Attorney to start this and to finally find what went wrong. And this person took 10 years before it was found guilty and everything.
Yes.
Ambra, do you feel that the atmosphere towards the survivors has changed?
It feels that the Me Too movement needs to still keep moving. And I believe that, not with my words, but with my actions and our actions, things are going to continue moving. And I really do hope that's what's going to be Me Too for the future.
And let me add one more thing. Back in 2015, Cy Vance and the top police brass in NYPD allowed the Weinstein machine to destroy her. They knew the evidence. They knew what we had. They allowed it to destroy her. They destroyed her career. They destroyed her life, and she's still suffering 10 years later.
I have to feel strong. As I said, this is a start, so I am ready to encounter whatever I need to, just to put a dot to what happened in 2015. I need closure. I need to close this circle, and I think 10 years later, it's still something I'm fighting for, with the help of amazing people that I'm happy I've met. I'm just super blessed and lucky to be here and do it with them.
Do you think that the attitude towards Mr. Weinstein has changed?
Yes, absolutely. I believe that this is not about him. It's about that machine that allowed him to be able to do everything he has done in the past. And so I need to hold these people accountable for the future, for having other victims be heard and feel safe to come forward and be able to trust the system, because that's what we need. Otherwise, people would never continue to talk of what happened. That's why Me Too needs this, safe feeling of just like continuing this motion. And yeah, I really hope this is what I'm about to start. because like we need to see something that is never done before in a way that is never done before, and maybe this time is going to work.
Keep in mind, it's always very difficult when you're the first one, right? She spoke out against Italy's prime minister. This is how brave this woman is. And she was believed in Italy. You know, that's great. And so the point is, she was vocal early with respect to Mr. Weinstein. And unfortunately, you know, everybody kind of got on the bandwagon later on. But what about Ambra, right? She was the one who broke the seal.
Do you feel there's been sort of a backlash against the Me Too movement?
There's just been a little bit of loss of faith of what it can, you know, do to speak out. But I'm doing actions right now, and that's what I'm trying to give as an example to other people to do. And we're completely transparent. We're going to do all the process through the website. We're going to show everything that is going to be done. The proof are going to be there. The names are going to be there. Everything that is going to be happening is going to be also placed through our social media and whatever possible, because I do believe that I need the support of the public to push this, because it's been closed so many times, and I think something is wrong, and I want this to be fixed. That's all I want.
Are you working with other survivors?
No, this is about my case, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I really hope this is gonna start. I am ready to start.
Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.